If somebody wanted to know who Michael Pitts is, some of the biggest things I would want to key in on would be honest, reliable, dependable, and just an all-around good guy is what I want to be looked at as. Somebody that can get along with anybody. I know a lot of people see the comedy side of stuff we do a lot of as far as social media is concerned, and even on the hunting videos, and that is a huge part of who I am. But there's a laid back side as well, is to where when I'm in my own environment, I love to be around my friends, my family. Those are two things that mean the world to me, and I've been blessed to have an abundance of both, friends and family. I just want to be looked at as an all-around good guy. This helmet right here is one I just retired. It's been with me about 10 years, so it's seen a lot of good times, and had to retire it the other day and go into my new helmet. So this one right here is about to be a mantelpiece. I got my start as a fireman right out of high school. I worked part-time and volunteer while I went to college. And then once I got out of college, I went full-time with the fire department, and everybody knows all firemen have second jobs. I started off farming for a little while and then ended up going to work for Travis, T-Bone Turner. He was actually working on my stuff at the time when he had his own shop in Hogansville. So he was doing my work, and I did piddle a little bit with some of my own stuff, mainly just fletching arrows and very, very minor stuff. So he knew I kind of had that interest in archery and archery equipment and kind of tinkering with my own stuff a little bit. And I was farming at the time, and he had somebody that had quit him. And all the rest is history. I started working for him, and that's how I rolled into the Realtree crew. The first time I ever really did anything for Realtree was during the comedy sessions of the Monster Buck videos. And this one year they were doing a theme in a junkyard, and they were shooting people with paintball guns. I guess you could say I was kind of the test dummy for Realtree back in those days, but that's where it all started. Back about 5 years ago, Realtree had come to me, and they had the idea of doing some pit stops. And basically they were just little short comedic presentations, kind of jabbing at the outdoor industry per se. So what we're going to talk about today is food plots. And in particular, small food plots like this one I got right here behind me. Just because you bought something on clearance at a hunting store, it doesn't mean you're on that hunting store's pro staff. Trained my dog last week how to find sheds. People are always asking me, they say, Pitts, what do you do now that hunting season's over? Shoot a doe. How you gonna be famous when all you shoot's does? Hold on. If you shoot a doe, everybody's gonna assume you can't kill a big buck. Congratulations, you shot a doe. Guess what? That big buck you've been hunting saw you do it. Now your neighbor's gonna have to mount him. It's kind of weird in a way because you do these out of fun and just goofing off and having a great time, and you never associate it with people starting to recognize you when you're out in the public or whatnot. So that's kind of difference to me because I'm just Pitts, Being a fireman is a highly stressful job. You see a lot of stuff, have to do a lot of stuff that can affect you mentally and physically pretty much. In the woods has always been my outlet as far as finding that peace, being by myself, getting to hunt, sit up a tree, in God's country and relax. That is the most peaceful I feel is when I'm in the woods. Actually, the story of Tupac starts right down here in this creek bottom. There was one rub on a tree that was probably that big around, and it was way high up. we knew a good deer was working this area, so we hung a set back in there and we're hunting. And we actually saw him. He came out on top of that hill and he went out by the interstate. He actually went outside the interstate fence and came all the way down to this creek and crossed right there, and then came up this creek and crossed here and evaded us. But we had an idea where he was coming out from, because we saw him up that hill where he came out. I think he was bedding actually on the top of that hill. So we took the set from here and moved it up there to where we saw him come out. And it's kind of great when a plan works, you know, because we killed that deer the first evening we hunted up there, but we had to make a little move to do it. But he was a big old deer, had big old G2s. That's why I called him Tupac. It was a fun hunt for sure, but it goes to show you, we set up the first time right here thinking we had him pegged, and we kind of saw what he was doing and his route and all that, and we ended up having to move the stand again, but we got a shot at him. That's the thing with bow hunting, you got to get so close to get the opportunity, so lots of times it's a lot of hanging sets, moving sets to get that 30 to 40 yard shot. So those twos are unreal. Now you see why we called him Tupac, because that right there. I bet those are 12, 13 inches long right there on the twos. But yeah, that deer was actually, he was going outside that fence to the interstate almost. And he went outside the fence way up that hill and walked the side of the interstate all the way down. I tell you, being back out here and reliving that hunt, seeing the actual way it went down and reliving it in my mind, that's one of the enjoyable factors of killing these deer. A lot of people think, you know, we're just killing them and care nothing about them, but it's lifelong memories that are obtained through this. It's nice to sit here and relive it, being back down in here. There are times I will leave the fire department in the morning, go home, start working on bows in my bow shop, and then I will be in a tree stand that evening filming for Realtree road trips. So my job is sometimes changing 3 times in one day, I guess you could say, from fire department to bow work to hunting in a tree stand that evening. Fun thing about this stand is, first year we hung it, it was wrapped up in poison ivy in there. And I got the worst case poison ivy I think I've ever had. It took 2 shots and still didn't go away. Finally, it ended up going away. So this place right here is called the Poison Ivy Stand. In life, I think you're always gonna have ups and downs. And sometimes on every path you travel, you're gonna take a dark road from time to time, or a dark path. Everything's not gonna be perfect. And that's what you've got to understand, whether it be work, play, family, friends, you're gonna have those ups and you're gonna have those downs. And I think the way you handle yourself in those situations is what defines what kind of person you are. And if you bet on yourself and stay true to yourself, you're honest, you're dependable, you're reliable. If you put all those things together, you can't lose. See if we can get the fish swarming this morning. It's a bit cold, but I tell you, ever since Pond Wars, anytime I come to a pond, I get a little aggravated. But, you know, that's the breaks. Redemption's in the future, though. Next year is going to be a different story.